In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful. We have now reached Hadith number 377, the prophetic saying number 377 in the chapter of faith and Imaan, belief. And all these prophetic sayings we've been discussing as of late talk about the same incident and events that take place on the Day of Judgment. The previous hadith I believe was narrated by Anas ibn Malik. It was by Anas ibn Malik. The following hadith is narrated by Abu Hurairah. And you can see that multiple narrations and by different companions basically relay the same information, which tells us that this information can confidently be traced back to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and that these events are real and they will take place. عن أبي هريرة قال أتي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يوما بلحم. I'll try to read quickly because we've gone through multiple narrations before that have exactly, most of the wording is the same and the meaning is definitely the same with some additions here and there that we will just comment on. أتي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يوما بلحم فرفع إليه الذراع وكانت تعجبه فنهس منها نهسة فقال أنا سيد الناس يوم القيامة وهل تدرون بما ذاك. This is narrated by Abu Hurairah that one time a piece of meat was it was like a feast or a meal that was brought in front of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. It consisted of meat, and the dhira means the shoulder of that animal, maybe a cow, a goat or a sheep, was given to the Prophet ﷺ. And Abu Hurairah says وَكَانَتْ تُعْجِبُهُ, and the Prophet ﷺ used to like that piece of the goat or the sheep, the shoulder part. فَنَهَسَ مِنْهَا نَهْسَةً, so he took a bite from it. Then he said فَقَالَ أَنَا سَيِّدُ النَّاسِ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ وَهَلْ تَدْرُونَ بِمَا ذَاك. He says to them, I will be head of all people on the Day of Judgment, the Day of Resurrection, and you know why that is. Then he will start explaining. I didn't read any commentary from the people who commented on the hadith, the connection between the Prophet ﷺ tasting that meat and talking about this hadith. But it is possible that, of course, the Messenger ﷺ rarely ate such nice, well-cooked and beautiful hot food. As you know, his wife Aisha and other wives confirmed that he would go maybe for 2 or 3 months and they don't even light any stove or fire in their houses, which means they don't even cook because they don't have enough food to cook, nothing to cook. And when she was asked, how would you survive? She said, we would eat dates and water. That would be their food even for 2 or 3 months. And he didn't never actually, even the bread that is this nice shiny bread, when he died, one of his wives was crying. He said he never actually saw this bread in his life to try it or eat it. So sometimes he would be invited, maybe somebody who slaughtered a goat or a sheep, and he would offer him, a gift. That would be a great gift. So maybe when he ate this beautiful food after, days, maybe months of deprivation, he remembered paradise and Jannah, and he started talking to people about what will happen on the Day of Judgment. So he says to them, he will be ahead of the people on the Day of Resurrection. And you know why that is? I'll leave the translation because it will distract me. He says, يَجْمَعُ اللَّهُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ الْأَوَّلِينَ وَالْآخِرِينَ فِي صَعِيدٍ وَاحِدٍ. He says, Allah will collect and gather all humanity, the people who have passed and the people who are to come. Al-awwalina means the people, the first people and the last people. في صعيد واحد, in one plain land, which means this land does not have any elevations or dips. It's just a plain land. And that's actually referred to in the Quran as well. فيسمعهم الداعي وينفذهم البصر. It will be, people will be gathered in one place, and it will be no elevations, that everybody, you can see everybody from a distance, as far as you can see people. ينفذهم فيسمعهم الداعي, which means that if the angels called, everyone will hear what they call. And you could see everyone, which means يومئذ تعرضون لا تخفى منكم خافية, which means that on that day you will be presented in front of Allah, nothing will be hiding. لا تخفى منكم خافية, as mentioned in the Quran. وتدنو الشمس فيبلغ الناس من الغم والكرب ما لا يطيقون وما لا يحتملون. And it says that the sun will come closer and people will be so distressed to the extent that they will not be able to bear it anymore. فيقول بعض الناس لبعض, some people will say to the others, ألا ترون ما أنتم فيه, don't you see the amount of distress you are in? ألا ترون ما قد بلغكم, don't you see the amount of difficulty that you have reached? ألا تنظرون إلى من يشفع لكم إلى ربكم, why don't you go and seek someone to intercede to your Lord, so that to relieve you from this situation. فيقول بعض الناس لبعض to Adam, some people will say to each other, let's go to Prophet Adam. فيأتون Adam, they come to Adam. فيقولون يا Adam, they say, O Adam, أنت أبو البشر, you are the father of humanity. خلقك الله بيده, Allah created you and fashioned you with his own hands. ونفخ فيك من روحه, and he breathed in you. نفخ فيك من روحه, which means it is an honored spirit and soul that was created and gifted to Adam. Or نفخ فيك من روحه could mean that through the angel Jibreel, the spirit and soul and life was breathed through the angel Jibreel into Adam. Actually, that would be the stronger explanation. And to call Jibreel a-Ruh, it is mentioned in the Quran in more than one place, such as تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها in Surah Al-Qadr, فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر. الروح here is Jibreel. Also نزل به الروح الأمين على قلبك لتكون من المنذرين, which means this Quran was brought down to you by a-Ruh, the spirit. Ruh, spirit, angel. Actually, even in the Old Testament, in the previous books, Old Testament, New Testament, they would call the angel a spirit. Even the prophet, they would call him a spirit. A-Ruh could be used for an angel, a messenger. So, which means نفخ فيك من روحي, through his angel Jibreel, this life was breathed to honor as a privilege to Adam. And that same thing happened to Isa alayhi salam when Allah sent the angel. فنفخنا فيها من روحنا, as well through that angel the life was breathed and sent into the body of Isa in the womb of his mother Mary. So that same in that same fashion. وأمر الملائكة فسجدوا, and Allah commanded the angels and they prostrated for you. اشفع لنا إلى ربك, please plead to your Lord for us. ألا ترى إلى ما نحن فيه, don't you see our situation? ألا ترى ما قد بلغنا, don't you see how much distress we are in? فيقول آدم إن ربي غضب اليوم غضبا لم يغضب قبله مثله ولن يغضب بعده مثله وإنه نهاني عن الشجرة فعصيت نفسي نفسي. This piece is new. I mentioned it previously, but this line is new. It was not mentioned in previous narrations, but we mentioned when we commented. He said, "Inna Rabbi, my Lord, my Lord is so angry today, such an anger that he has never had before, and will never be as angry in the future ever again." So this is the highest level of anger, which made Adam apprehensive and unable to approach and to plead with Allah, even to ask a question or to make an invocation in that situation. Subhanallah. لم يغضب قبله مثله ولن يغضب بعده مثله, and never again will Allah be so angry, because people have been for thousands of years disobeying Allah, rejecting Allah, cursing Allah, committing so many heinous crimes, killing, shedding blood, all this. Now it is the time for reckoning. So that reckoning and punishment requires such an anger to execute such a punishment from the most merciful. So that is a situation. Allah is most merciful for the people. He gives them so many chances, and this is a time where the highest level of mercy will be exhibited to people who deserve it, and the anger will also be manifested in punishment for people who deserve it. وإنه نهاني عن الشجرة. He says, Allah prohibited me from eating from the tree. فعصيته, and I disobeyed him. نفسي نفسي, I only worry about myself. I only worry about myself. We've gone for 10 minutes. Maybe we'll take some more, another couple of lines from this magnificent hadith. اذهبوا إلى غيري. He says, go and seek someone else. اذهبوا إلى نوح. Go to Prophet Nuh. فيأتون نوحا. They come to Noah. فيقولون يا نوح, O Noah, أنت أول الرسل إلى الأرض. You are the first messenger to earth. وسماك الله عبدا شكورا. And Allah has called you a grateful servant of His. In Surah Al-Isra, in the chapter, I think 17, إنه كان عبدا شكورا. That Noah, Allah called him grateful, thankful servant of His. اشفع لنا إلى ربك. Intercede for us to your Lord. ألا ترى ما نحن فيه. ألا ترى ما قد بلغنا. Don't you see the situation we're in. فيقول لهم إن ربي قد غضب اليوم غضبا لم يغضب قبله مثله ولن يغضب بعده مثله. Same excuse. He says, Allah is so angry today, never before or never after will He be so angry. وإنه قد كانت لي دعوة دعوت بها على قومي نفسي نفسي. He says, here he says, I had one accepted invocation, because every prophet is given one invocation that Allah will accept for him as it is, like whatever he asks, Allah will give him what he asked. Because as you know, dua can be given as you asked, or Allah can give you something different, equal or better than it, or Allah can ward off an evil that is equal or even more severe than what you were seeking as a benefit. You follow? But there is one dua given to every prophet, granted that what you ask for you will be given. And he says, I had this accepted supplication and I used it during my life, which means I have nothing, I have no privilege today to go and ask Allah for something. I've used it in my life. I asked Allah to destroy the people who rejected him, because he stayed with them for 950 years calling them to Allah and they rejected. So he basically made that dua, made that supplication for them to be destroyed, and they were destroyed. In the previous narrations he mentioned something else, so maybe he mentioned both. Probably he mentioned both, that when he pleaded with Allah for his son to be saved, while Allah told him that your son is a disbeliever and will not be saved, you should not even consider him from amongst your family, and he drowned. And then Allah said to him, إني أعظك أن تكون من الجاهلين. I warn you not to be amongst the ignorant people. قال ربي إني أعوذ بك أن أسألك ما ليس لي به علم. Oh Allah, I seek refuge in you from asking you what I do not know, or asking you out of ignorance. إني أعوذ بك أن أسألك ما ليس لي به علم وإلا تغفر لي وترحمني أكن من الخاسرين. And if you do not bestow your mercy upon me and forgive me, I will be amongst the losers. So he considered that a sin, and that made him worry about himself. He says, Nafsi, nafsi. I only worry about myself. I only worry about myself. We can stop here and we'll continue the hadith some other time. No.